Day 4, we're up on the Mount of the Transfiguration, one of the key moments in Jesus' life, one of the key moments in the biblical life of our understanding of Jesus. Jesus takes Peter, James, and John up on a high mountain, and there he is transfigured before them. In other words, what happens is his true divinity comes bursting out through him. We see in the scriptures translations trying to get to that, and they're saying things like, his clothes shone as no one could launder them. They were as bright as the sun. All this language trying to explain Jesus' divinity coming through his full humanity. Peter and James and John are watching this, and then they see Moses in glory and Elijah in glory, and there they are completely overwhelmed by this, right? It says that they have gone into a sleep, but the sleep means a deep contemplation of what they're seeing. And then the cloud descends upon them. That cloud, of course, is the cloud of unknowing. That's the cloud of God. That's how God was manifested in a theophany to Moses on Mount Sinai. And he says, this is my beloved son. Listen to him. I love that. Peter, listen to him, right? And then they awaken. In other words, they come back to their full consciousness, their way that we are now. And they say, Peter says, it's a good thing we were here, Jesus, because we can make a tent for you and one for Moses and one Elijah. Now it's near the Feast of the Booths, right? The Feast of the Tents in the Jewish tradition. And there, Jesus is like, no. He said, you tell no one about this until I have been raised. But there's a kind of interesting thing about this. In the end, Peter sort of got his way, right? Because the church at the Mount of the Transfiguration has in it Jesus in glory in the back, right? In his transfigured glory, Moses, Elijah, and the disciples at their feet. And then also in the front of the church, there's a little chapel on the left, which is the tent for Moses, and on the right, there's the tent for Elijah. There it is. Peter got his way, and we're getting our way too, because this is one of the major epiphanies. A theophany is a manifestation of God. An epiphany is the manifestation of God in Christ. And this Transfiguration event is always the last Sunday in the season of Epiphany before we launch into Lent, because Jesus in his life is having an epiphany moment, and he is launching into the way of the cross, which is what we will follow in Lent. It's a most beautiful and holy place up here. I wish you were all here. Peace and blessings.